Back when the critics mocked him and the tabloids stalked him, some in Hollywood wondered if Ben Affleck was just a guy Matt Damon brought along for the ride. Not anymore. As he built an enviable family life and a passion to help the most desperate in Africa, Affleck also earned a spot as one of the most respected directors in Hollywood, and his latest film may be his best. As we discussed in the Nightline interview, Argo is based on an incredible chapter of top-secret heroics with eerie relevance 32 years later.
When the embassy was taken over.
An angry mob storms an American embassy in the Middle East. But this is not 2012, and these aren't clips from a recent Nightline. No, this is 1979, the moment that created Nightline.
Outside our embassy and all through Tehran, there was more chanting and shouting today.
For 444 days, as America obsessed over the 52 hostages held in Iran, few knew about the 6 embassy workers who escaped and fled to the home of the Canadian ambassador. While they hid for weeks from the deadly wrath of the Revolutionary Guards, a CIA agent named Tony Mendez hatched an insane rescue plan. He would fly them out of Tehran posing as a film crew, scouting locations for a Star Wars ripoff called Argo.
You need a script, you need a producer.
But before he could convince the frightened Americans to play along, he needed Hollywood to help sell the lie.
You teach somebody to be a director in a day?
You teach a rhesus monkey to be a director in a day.
Funny to think that there are genuine laughs in a story like this, but one comes from the idea that spies and Hollywood producers are hustlers of a different stripe, right?
It really is true. You know, they have to make up all these yarns in order to get done what they want to get done. I mean, the security of our country has depended on endless, stories. And so it never would have worked if it weren't a true story, because people just thought there's no way the CIA would be working with Hollywood.
But it did work. And because dozens of hostages remained back at the embassy, the CIA had to give all the credit to Canada.
Good evening, day 87, and finally a sliver of really good news.
It was years before the mission was declassified and Tony Mendez got the glory he deserved. But Affleck may not have to wait so long. If the early buzz is right, that grinning kid who got an Oscar for writing Good Will Hunting could be picking up another for directing Argo. And what a ride in between.
I want to look into the eyes of my father's killer as he dies.
Wait. If you just look at the filmography, you got Daredevil, Geely.
Let's not forget that.
Jersey Girl, you
Thanks
got that.
for bringing that up.
That era. But then
keep the car running.
But then you've got, the most recent ones, Company Men,
Gone Baby Gone,
Sure. the Town,
yeah,
and Argo
yeah.
Now. This is a guy making very different choices.
Yeah, at some level. Although I'm not super into the idea of like doing superhero movies now. Not because I have any judgment about them, but because I'm interested in doing other stuff.
If you could go back to the Shrine Auditorium in '98, when your mom is there, you got the trophy, Matt's there, and you could pull that kid aside and tell him what you know now, what would your advice be?
Well, it would probably be a long conversation and not one that was suitable for television. And that was a very strange time. It was almost, it was too much sort of stimulation. It was hard to take in and hard to really recognize and put in perspective. It took me a little while.
Right.
I think this was my wife. 1 second.
Sure. And during the maturity talk, right on cue,
Hey, I'm doing an interview.
Comes a call from Jennifer Garner, now wife of 7 years, mother of his 3 kids, and constant career counselor.
Which is extraordinary as a person and as a parent. It seems to have these instincts, whereas I'm totally lost.
Who's the alpha?
Listen, any man who wants to have a marriage work needs to know who the boss is, for one, and for two, they need to know it's not them.
How has fatherhood changed you?
I think it's changed me in the way that I view the world in terms of doing something substantive, leaving behind something that matters.
So that's Kinshasa, and this is the Congo River.
Exhibit A, the Congo. 4 years ago, Affleck invited Nightline along as he laid the groundwork in his effort to bring attention to the desperation of millions ravaged by war and famine. How goes that fight? Are you still engaged there?
It goes great. In fact, I want to give you guys some of our Congo bars, which we have coming out.
Oh, really?
Tell you what we're doing here. This is the Eastern Congo Initiative. We fund a grassroots organization that works with cocoa farmers to help them bring their cacao and the way they dry it out and the way they farm it sort of overall up to international standards. We've hooked them up with the private sector here, Theo Chocolates, who are great partners, and now they're in business.
Ben Affleck.
And while he still lobbies the U.S. government to put diplomatic pressure on Congo to help their people, the Democrat is not campaigning the way he did in election years past.
Yeah, I got less interested in it. The more I was around it, the more I saw like how much it's about money, how much it's about raising money. And if you're a surrogate, you're there to help raise money. And if you're not, you watch what the campaigns are doing to raise money. And I've been part of it. I've participated in it. But it just depresses me, and it makes it's not interesting. And I think it doesn't reflect well on our democracy.
And for now, he is content to enjoy this career sweet spot, getting ready to direct Matt Damon in the story of Boston crime boss Whitey Bulger.
It actually occurred to me watching the screening. I wonder if Damon gave him grief for showing his six-pack abs in Argo.
I think that might have been a two-pack. That's why I cut through it so fast.
You couldn't resist, could you?
Actually,
Sexiest man alive.
The script was like, Tony gets out of the shower and walks around. It was like a whole, thing. You know what I mean? It was like, I'm just gonna. How about I just put the shirt on and we keep
But
going.
you got to service the lady fans out there. You got to give them a little something.
If you
They're
say
going to
so,
wade
man.
into 30-year-old
international
relations. But also the Barry Gibb look. That was a.
That's for the ladies. The ladies love the Barry Gibb look.
I need you to help me make a fake movie.
Came to the right place.
You know what I mean? And I went for it. I gunned for it. I'm not too proud to say. The beard and the hair.
That was your hair?
Is for, oh yes,
Oh,
that
yeah.
was my hair.
That's
Yeah, I
feathered
wouldn't, yes, exactly. I wouldn't try to perpetrate a fraud with that. I'm surprised that I haven't gotten a lot of remarks on how good it looks, but I'm still waiting.